Regret is one of the more painful emotions that I can think of. I wish I would have tried harder in sports growing up. I pretty much had second string on lockdown. I wanted to be a starter, sure, but I just didn't put forth the effort to make it happen, and I regret that. I wish I'd have made a better effort to be more disciplined in school. I wasn't a bad student. I made mostly B's, made some A's, made some C's. I failed a class in college whenever I got in over my head, but I regret not making education in that phase of my life a priority. But talking about things that have already happened and dwelling in the past is not the kind of regret I want to talk about. I want to talk about regret anticipation. Anticipating something that you'll eventually regret is a skill that's not easily learned. My dad had a great life. He came from a middle-class family. His dad was a truck driver and his mom worked for Dillard's. They spent a lot of time at the lake in the summer, played football in the fall, and spring was hay hauling season. He was a welder until he got on the Oklahoma City Fire Department when he was 21. He worked 10 24-hour shifts on the fire department per month, and on his days off, he helped out at his brother's heating and air conditioning business. He worked hard and he played even harder. By the time I was born, we were going to the lake, skiing and fishing pretty much every chance we got. He got into riding four-wheelers after I moved off to college, and him and a group of his friends started going to Moab every year to ride. He always brought back awesome stories. He retired from the fire department when he was 46 years old after 25 years, 1 month, and 1 day of service. He was still working at the heating and air shop until he could draw his full pension from the fire department at 59 years old, where he planned on fully retiring. His plan on fully retiring was to buy a nice shiny new RV and hit the road, just him and my mom. He didn't have many exact things to see, like he just wanted to go and see what was out there. He was going to go as far east as Niagara Falls, as far west as California Highway 1, and try to find what was in the middle. At 50 years old, he contracted kidney cancer, where over the course of the next 3 years, it spread to the rest of his body, and he passed away at 53. The morning he passed away, my wife Stephanie and I knew that we were headed down the same path. We were playing hard and working harder, and we were putting off a lot of stuff for this idea of retirement. We were harshly reminded that even though we were planning on retirement was not guaranteed. 2 months later, we had sold most of what we owned. We had bought an RV and we hit the road, determined to live our later life today. Over the last 2.5 years of living on the road, we've been fulfilling that dream of living our later life today. We've paddled glacier-fed rivers in Alaska. We've climbed sandstone in Moab, and we've mountain biked in Sedona, and we've skied in Revelstoke, and we've paddleboarded the Deschutes River in Bend, Oregon. We've done all kinds of cool stuff that we would have never done if we were still living the American dream. This lifestyle change hasn't been easy though. Creating a sustainable means to living life on the road has been one of the more challenging things that we've ever done. We've failed more times than we can count, and we've wasted weeks, dare I say months, on trying things that ultimately proved unfruitful. But you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And most things in life that are worth doing have challenges. But the challenges are really what defines a journey. Good stories rarely start with "everything went exactly as planned." Failure is painful, but failure is ultimately just finding a way that didn't work. Over the last 2.5 years on the road, the only thing that we found to be more painful than failure is regret. When you're faced with a challenge, I want you to ask yourself something. If you live to 100, will you regret not going on that trip? Will you regret not meeting that friend halfway around the world that you haven't seen in years? Will you regret going to that cubicle every single day in lieu of creating a job with more freedom? Practice regret anticipation. Live your later life today.